Hey guys, welcome back to some Guild the Guardians. Today's video is going to be the absolute game changer when it comes to Radiance, when it comes to building up these Guardians themselves. This is where it is going to be the game changer. Now, we are going to do kind of a PSA in here because you have to be very, very aware when it comes to these Guardians. You do have to hold the Guardian. So everyone right now, you have to have the Guardians in your passport or in your in-game inventory to get the bonus Radiance that we're going to look at. And we're going to really break this down because I want to understand it. They have to be in your inventory, and that is where the Guardians have to be if you are going to get the boost. Now, let's hop over and look at this and see exactly what we are going to be getting in. Now, we know they've been talking about the enchanting or the enhancing of the Guardian Radiance and the mechanics because it is super, super ultra expensive to build these heroes. Now, this also means, in my opinion, might be and might not be true, but I really feel like the cost or the value of the Guardians that are currently, as of today, out there are going to be depreciated or are going to lose a lot of value, which could, of course, ultimately hurt the player base, hurt everyone who put a lot of money into this because, of course, it's going to be easier to make those Radiant 8, 9, and 10 Guardians based on the new system that they're rolling out. Now, you notice that this is the final. That is right. This is the final. This is the one they're going with. The final, they went through a draft. A lot of people didn't like it. Changed up the draft a little bit, made some different drafts. And you'll notice this was actually updated yesterday. So it was very late yesterday that this came up. And making sure, again, this is the final update. This is as it's going to sit. So thank you for everyone who provided feedback. This came from Discord. This came from a lot of different places. There were a lot of questions, a lot of concerns about this new way that really it's going to remove the RNG factor. So when you think about building heroes right now as it sits or building Guardians, it is super expensive and there is going to be EXP or experience compensation for the advanced tier cost. So you're not going to have to go in there and use all of the souls that we use today. Now, validation and adjustment, this is the big thing. So when you look in here, guys, you have to make sure, and there we go, we got a brand new sub to the channel, but some players equate the cost for the previous index. That has changed. This is different. To address this, we ran a large-scale simulator of Radiant soul advancement cost under optimal Radiance advancement flow, and they realized that, yes, the proposed costs were higher than simulated, and the theoretical were higher than simulated averages. So the results are definitely shown based on the feedback that Radiance levels feel overly expensive, which again was the big part of this game. It was so expensive to build these heroes. A lot of players just opted out, quit. Some whales went in there, built them to 1510. We've adjusted the experience progression to align with the simulation results, making overall XP costs approximately 10% cheaper. So they are doing a reduction of how much XP this is going to cost. Updated the appendix. Now, again, this is the final. So they reduced XP for Radiance Tier 7, slightly increased Radiance for 8 and 10, with the largest increase to 10. Now, this, of course, is the only way that you're going to keep from all the players just building out these Tier 10 heroes, which, again, in my opinion, is going to devalue them a lot because they're going to be easier to make, meaning they are going to be cheaper over on Token Trove. So I feel like the cost of these are going to drop, and we have to see exactly where they do drop to. The result is linear progression, Tier 7. And again, kind of breaking into some of the math, Tier 7 was 17.7. We believe these adjust represent an acceptable compromise that balances the community concerns. Full crafting hearts will be removed from the altar. So again, full hearts crafting will be removed from the altar. So no full hearts will be available to be crafted, which again, with a major overhaul, if you're sitting on these full hearts, they will no longer be able to be crafted. They are going to be removed from the altar. Players will still be able to consume it, but of course, will never sell full hearts, but reserves the right to use unminted full hearts at the mint cap. So again, we can see what that exactly that is. So XP compensation and Radiance fails. This is where some players requested the Radiance. They said not feasible. Isn't going to happen, not going to do it. Data integrity issues, advancement flows, not going to happen right there. Additionally, if they fully compensated, it would really devalue the Guardians, which I feel like is going to be what is going to happen anyways. Penalize players who sold or transferred. So essentially, they would lose everything because they already sold the Guardians that they have. Instead, this is what they came up with, and this is the change. So Guardians with a Radiant success that is less than 0 indicated prior fail attempts receive 50 EXP towards the next tier. This is the reason why you have to have the heroes, why you have to hold the heroes, why they have to be in your wallet, why they have to be in your inventory. You're getting a 50%. So essentially the way to look at this is if you have a hero, let's say that is 15.8, like my Leah is, they are going to buffer up to 15.8.5, or essentially 50% towards that 9 Radiance, which of course is going to make a big difference. Players will receive additional XP proportional to the number of fail attempts against the maximum number of fails possible. Players will also receive the base case of 50% EXP for any Radiance level if they have failed a combined Enlightenment and Radiance level. If they haven't failed the Radiance, only increase attempts. This we know happened on Leah. We know this happened with my Karuk. There were a few heroes that we failed in its entirety, including Tirok and I believe Tavros as well, that we did have the fail. So right here, 15-9, Guardian has a 20% success chance for the next Radiance. This means they made 9 attempts based on the Radiance success table, which is insane. Maximum number of Radiance attempts for 10 is 100% at 12 attempts. The player has completed 9 of 12 or 75% progression. Player receives the flat compensation of 50%. Player receives a further scaling compensation of that extra 75%, so 37.5. Hence, the XP for Radiance 10 will be filled 87.5%. So the 50 plus the equation of the other one, requiring another 8,500 Radiant Souls to get to 10. And of course, based on the XP bar, this is going to be a non-failed attempt. You're going to get that experience up there. If you use another 8,500 Radiant Souls, you are going to get to 10 in the entirety. Note that the compensation will only be provided for Guardians that have remained in the same account, no transfers or vault movements. So again, thinking of this in the vault movements, this is the reason the heroes have to be in there. So example right here, 15.9 Guardian has a 20% chance. Player has sold, transferred, or moved the asset in a way that the success chance is reset. That means you will receive no compensation. No XP is going to be in here. So if you swap Guardians, if you've bought the Guardians and didn't try the Radiance on the new Guardians, you're not going to have the ability to get that extra XP on there, which of course is going to make a big difference. Now right here, the Radiance system has been replaced by a reliable Radiance XP, which I really like. Radiant Souls provide 1 EXP point per Radiance tier for duplicate Radiant Guardians devoted the Radiant XP to increase the Radiance to 100%. 100%, of course, is going to guarantee without failure that you're going to get those Radiant Guardians. Structure, the number of duplicate used Enlightenment process has been flattened. 1 duplicate Guardian required per Enlightenment tier. This, of course, I got them for Leah. I got them for Karuk. I got them from Tirok. These have been a lot of those crack souls that we've used. The order to achieve maximum Enlightenment Radiance for Legendary Guardians is approximately the same as the old system. Epic and rares are slightly reduced. And then, of course, the optimal progression path. This is how you have to build up the Guardians. Build up your Guardians and minus the total cost. Ensure Guardian is ascended. That is an NFT right there. Make sure to use duplicate Radiant Guardians during the Enlightenment, which we've talked about before. Fill Radiance bar to max value before advancement to the next tier of Enlightenment. So we're going to have to remember that is the optimal progression path that they have. Now, of course, thank you for the feedback and everything else. Validation of resources. I think this is some of the older information that they've kind of went through in there. And then, of course, looking in here, we also looked at the leaderboards. We were waiting to see when the leaderboards were coming up. And you can see January 25th. So this was actually a while ago. The Gilded Guardians will resume leaderboard competition January 28th. Onward, the total prize 1.5 million Gilded Guardian tokens over 4 weeks of competition. So again, all leaderboards scored will be scored weekly. This is important, not seasonal. So going in here on a weekly basis, I'm still waiting to see where the compensation is for everything else, the Bound by Flames and all of that, and when we're getting all of the compensation or the items out of there. Then, of course, all of the other weekly boards, which right now it is the 14th. So this is 29 to 18, just waiting to see exactly where we are on the endless leaderboards. Right now, we're running about 100, which is 500 tokens. absolutely can use those tokens to get some more stuff. Even looking at the weekly rush, I believe we're around 100 again. So right around this same amount of Guild of Guardian tokens. And of course, PvP, not a huge fan. I'm gonna have to see when we start getting these tokens in here, exactly where we are. But guys, that's gonna do it for today's video. Absolutely massive final update, final changes on what is coming. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.